At least if you wanna run with my team, I'm about to get into some shit that I've seen. This fool's breath on me, so that'll melt your ice cream.
6'3", see if you can get close to this.
I think he knows it.
6'3", yeah, that's more like it.
If you want me to keep
Somebody might step in front of you and you gotta go higher.
Okay, thank you.
I'm fine, how are you? No. Get him out. Get him out.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for your service. No problem.
Trust your training.
No.
Hey,
No coffee.
I heard it.
that's strike two. Strike three. Strike three.
That's the third time you think we're
Nice and quiet.
Quiet, quiet.
no time.
Ways away. What's that?
Quiet, quiet.
Here's that bar.
Still ways away. I fixed it for you.
Well, thank you very much, and I see we have fewer people because of the virus problem, and
The total deaths today crossed 100 for the first time. This morning, your Surgeon General on the Today Show said he wanted Americans to understand that this is going to get really bad. Do you share that prognosis?
of course I do. It's going to be bad, and we have a lot of people dying from the flu, as you know. We have a very bad flu season on top of everything else. It's very bad. It looks like it could be over 50,000. And certainly this is going to be bad, and we're trying to make it so that it's much, much less bad.
About these guidelines on testing, obviously Senator Rand Paul has tested positive for coronavirus, but he was not in contact with anybody who was a known positive, and he didn't have any major symptoms. Under your guidelines, under the guidelines that have been outlined here, he would not have gotten a test. He got one anyway. So what do you say to him? He's pointed out that if he hadn't gone basically in defiance of these guidelines and got tested, he might still be showing up to the Senate right now and infecting the whole U.S. Senate.
So that's why this was important. That's why this recommendation to the American people was important. Because we have been saying that there is a level of asymptomatic or mild spread. And that's why each person has to be responsible. Each person has to be responsible in the way that they decrease their interaction with others, the 6 feet, and you're all very social distance, so thank you. But also assuming that everyone that you're interacting with could be positive. And that gets into the hand washing piece, and that gets into the other piece we talked about is surfaces. I think until we really figure out the respiratory transmission versus the surface transmission, and this hard surface transmission, not fabric, will be really critical, because that is a way the virus could spread on subways or metros, where people would be holding on to things that other people had recently held on to. So that's the real question.
Operation, we've learned a lot, and we fixed a lot of problems. One of the things we fixed is, if you look at the obsolete system that this administration inherited, it wasn't meant for this. It was meant for a small group of people, and even for that, it was not very good and very obsolete. We now have a testing program now that will hopefully be able to be used for many years into the future, should we have another event like this. Don't shake hands. I did actually before I became a politician. Once I became a politician, then it's hard getting used to not doing it. Because, you know, you do it with everybody, with literally thousands of people a week. You're shaking hands with big groups of people.
Sorry, Mr. President. My second one is on what your economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, said today. He was talking about this, and he said that there are going to have to be some difficult trade-offs if you do ease these guidelines, because he wants the economy
You
to
mean
be
with the
open again.
Democrats you're talking about?
No. He was talking about how you said, you know, the cure shouldn't be worse than the problem, and he was talking about reopening the businesses, getting the economy going again. What are those difficult
Well,
trade-offs?
it is true. I mean, if he said, I didn't hear him say that, but if he said difficult trade-off, sure, it's less convenient. Before you walk and you hop in the subway and you grab the handle and you go down to wherever you're going on Wall Street and you do all sorts of things and you go in and you open the doors going into your great buildings or into the exchanges, and now you're not going to have to maybe think about doing that, or you're going to think about doing it a different way. No, there are many trade-offs.
So we're learning a lot about social distancing and respiratory diseases. And I think those are the discussions we have to have in the future. It was what you were talking about, changing our whole behavior patterns of what we touch and being conscious of that. I remember when I was worried Saturday morning, I was trying to think, what all did I touch on Friday? Did I touch a doorknob? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I not wash my hands? I mean, you go through this whole piece. Did I touch my face by accident? So I think this awareness that we all now have that we didn't have before, where we would have pushed through that door or turned that doorknob because we were in such a hurry. Now I think all of us think twice. I think all of you think twice.
Potentially been exposed to the virus, returning to work sooner. You still
Yes.
expect that guidance?
Yes, thank you for the question. I spoke to the Secretary of Education today, and we're going to have her at the podium very soon. The Department of Education.
Yeah, please.
Both you and the Vice President have been tested for the virus, also Mrs. Pence. Has the First Lady been tested?
Yes.
And?
She's great. She's great. She's fine.
Negative?
Negative, yes. Okay? Negative.
Has the First Lady been tested?
They say don't say nothing if you can say nice things. Sitting too close to him on board like my eye sting. I tried to be subtle, hand him a stick of gum. I was a victim of breath on hum. Running his yap about what set he from. Gotta get some gum, gotta get him some. He turned it down, his teeth was brown. Excruciating boring, it was a new sensation. I had to ask the dope to pass the soap, cause his coat had the stench of crustaceans. Or bathrooms in the bus station. He had a can of OE and some raisins. Amazing, head to Tobio, he didn't know. Used to the fragrance, just as the days went without bathing. He felt manly and not like a maiden. He had one dread and fungus. Said he worked on people's toilets with plungers. Girls, not the guy you would want to tongue, yeah. So guys, take your cue from this little number. You gotta wash your ass if you must. You gotta wash your hair if you must. You gotta brush your teeth if you must, or else you'll be funky. You gotta wash your ass if you must. You gotta wash your hair if you must. You gotta brush your teeth if you must, or else you'll be funky.
You'll notice I was not here over the weekend. I think this is the part that we really need to take personal responsibility for. Saturday, I had a little low-grade fever.
Uh-oh.
So, actually, probably a GI thing. But you know, I'm meticulous. I'm a physician.
Trade-offs, if you do ease these guidelines because he wants the economy
You
to
mean
be
with the
open,
Demo-
you do ease these guidelines because he wants the economy
You
to be
mean
open.
with-
But you know, I'm meticulous. I'm a physician.